All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through for a sad yet positive Wednesday. Special shout out to Chris Davis, R.I.P. big man. You taught me so much about positivity and faith in what you believe in, and I really, really believe that, and I appreciate everything I learned from you. And he hired me to come to Sycamore here, and so I always have a big spot in my heart for you, and I'll be thinking about your family. Okay, look, we're simplifying radicals. This is never easy, and it has a lot to do with number sense. So you might want to write down on your test the perfect squares, okay? If you look over to your left, I've written them on the board for you today in class. But I think this is a good strategy for you to write down on your test. It's going to save you some time, and eventually it'll help you remember what these are so you don't have to write them down anymore, which is obviously the goal. Oh, geez, oh, Pete. And you'll see on the other board I went all the way to 12. Look, there's different ways you can do this, and there's not always a best way. Okay? I don't even think anything in the directions matter other than simplify. That's all that matters. So look, I'll do each one of these in red and blue, and you guys can decide which way is best for you. So what I would do, every time I saw radical 4 in life, I would call this a 2. Let's see. Let me rewrite the question. So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 25 is 5. The answer is 10. Another way to do this is to combine what's underneath the radical. So 4 times 25 is 100, and the square root of 100 is 10. So look, there's 2 different ways to get to that answer. Okay? Again, you could write this as 9 times 6, so the answer is 54, or the square root of, 81 times 36 is the square root of 2,916, and when I pop that into calculator, you get 54. Okay? So, again, I encourage you to use the best method for you on this, okay? All right, now they're all not going to be nice, easy answers. So, the square root of 3 is just the square root of 3. That's as simple as we can get, because none of these numbers go into 3. The cube root of 27 is 3, okay? So, the way we write this in math is 3 radical 3. So for those of you that are looking to see how is he going to do this in blue, I'm not, because you cannot combine a cube root with a square root. They're not common exponents, if you will. Okay? And we're going to move along here. Okay, so now we get some letters in here, and don't freak out about it. So this says the square root of 36x cubed. Okay, I'll do this again 2 different ways. The square root of 36 is x. There is no square root of x cubed, but we can rewrite on the... let's see, I'm going to redo this. I'm not going to do it 2 different ways. I want to show you, I think, the best way to do this. Eventually, you guys can skip steps on these, although I would advise you not to until you start to get perfect scores on some of your assessments. Okay? You can write 36 as 6 squared. Okay? You can write x cubed as x squared times x to the first. My strategy on these is essentially going to be writing x squareds in here, or x squared is the powers. So the square root of 6 squared is just 6. The square root of x squared is just x. And what we have remaining is x to the first. Well, you'd probably not write that, x to the first. And this, indeed, is your answer, 6x radical x. Okay? The next one says the cube root of 125 y squared z to the fourth. Okay? Well, 125 is 5 cubed. You might have to try that in your calculator. So we're going to be able to pull out a 5. Y squared does not contain a cube. We're just going to leave it there for a second. And we're going to rewrite z to the fourth as z cubed times z. Okay, now, since this is a cubed root, I need to write that. The only thing we can pull out are the things that are being cubed. Okay, so 5z gets pulled out, and a y squared z get left in, okay? And I can't really tell you a great way to do these. Just, you got to keep practicing and getting better as you go, okay? That's the goal in life. Finally, square root of 18k to the 6th. Write it over here. Okay, well, I need to find one of these numbers from this list that goes into 18. Okay, it's 9. There it is. So, I'm going to write this as 9 times 2 times k to the 6th. Okay? Well, I'm going to write this all out so I don't confuse you. You can write this as 3 squared times 2. K to the 6th you can write out as k squared. Well, here, yesterday I wrote it the other way. Let me write it this way. You can write it as k cubed squared. Okay? So remember that you can only pull out the things that are being squared. 3 is being squared. K cubed is being squared. So when you pull them out, the 3 squared becomes a 3 out here. The k cubed squared just becomes a k cubed. And all you have left on the inside is a radical 2. Okay? Let me try to show you another way that you could have done that. I'm going to start over. 18k to the 6th. Let's write that as the square root of 9 times 2 times k squared times k squared times k squared, and I wish these weren't k's, but that's just what they are. Okay? Well, 9 is 3 squared. Okay? And the square root of k squared is just k. So we're going to pull out 3 k's. And k times k times k is k cubed. Okay? The 3 goes there. That's gone, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. So our answer is 3k cubed radical 2. Okay? We'll do 3 more for you. Alright. So, square root of 4 times the square root of 6. This is just 2 radical 6. You would just leave it like that. Okay? The square root of 9x squared times 9y squared. Let me write this down so I can see it better. Okay, well, I just handle this like I just did the last one. So it's the square root of 3 squared x squared times the square root of 3 squared y squared. Well, again, we pull out anything that's being squared from the square root. So that's 3x, okay, everything's gone, times 3y, and we can write that as 9xy. Okay? And finally, number 18, significantly tougher. I'm going to rewrite it over here. The cubed root of 50 x squared z to the 5th times the cube root of 15 y cubed z. Okay? Well, 50 is not a perfect cube, nor is 15. So now, but since these are both cube roots, what I have to do is multiply these two things together. So you end up getting this big 750 x squared y cubed z to the 6th. Okay? Well, now I got to find something that goes into 750 that is a perfect cube. I think it's going to involve 5. So 5 cubed, I pop that in my calculator, cubed is 125. Okay? So I end up getting 5 cubed, and 125 times 6 is 750. We're going to break everything into cubes. I can't break that into cubes. Y is already into cubed, and this will be z squared cubed. Okay, well everything, sorry, this should be a cubed root and a cube root. Everything that's being cubed, we get pulled out. And what we have left stays in there. So our answer is 5y z squared times the cube root of 6x squared, and that is tough stuff. Good luck on this. Boom!